The weak revel in their aggression. The strong in their gentleness. Be more hard and less attack.
Good evening and a warm welcome to Big Budget Business. Now, what we do on this show is highlight the lives of prolific young entrepreneurs who are making strides in their respective fields, and we also discuss pertinent issues that we face as young business people. Today, which is our first live show, we're discussing digital marketing and how it has emerged to become one of the most crucial tools that we can use to push our businesses, services, and products. So we're speaking to the CEO and founder of Vibe Digital, Karabo Letsholo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
Thank you so much for being here. So what we usually do is try and get a sense of the individual.
Yeah.
Try and get a sense of you as Karabo Letsholo,
Yeah.
the individual. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm 29 years young, born in Francistown back then. Grew up in the States, so that's why some people may consider that I have a accent. I don't hear it, of course. But yeah, that's basically who I am. You know, came back from the States back in 2005. Did my latter part of high school, secondary, and went to the University of Botswana. Got myself my finance degree, such as yourself, Big Budget. That's where me and you met.
What's up, man?
Yeah, definitely. And obviously after that, then I, furthered my education with a professional diploma in digital marketing.
Okay.
I got a certificate in content marketing as well. Indulged in Mandarin as well. So there's just a
Great.
bunch of. I'm a bit of an academic. I take it after my mother. You know, I grew up with my mother, and she's a professor herself at the university. So yeah,
great.
I kind of basically took after her in terms of the academic side, of
Alright.
things. Yeah.
No, that's great. So I see you're quite, the versatile person. You're doing languages here,
Yeah.
digital stuff,
Yeah.
finance, the works.
Yeah.
No, that's great. So tell us now about the entrepreneurial side of Karabo Letsholo.
Yeah.
How did this whole entrepreneurship thing start?
Yeah. Okay. Well, funny enough, back in university, I have a few siblings, right? So one of my siblings was in Japan.
Okay.
So me and my boy wanted to go to Japan, and we just wanted to find money of how to make money to pay for expenses like the air flight and accommodation. We wanted to stay there for about a whole entire month because it was really cool. We just loved the Japanese culture and everything like that. So we had to put our heads together to kind of garner the capital to get that side. So basically, we started our own T-shirt brand called Galanga, and the most popular T-shirt of that Galanga brand was YGG. So from there, that's when we started doing events. We even had a whole entire mixtape where we had like all of the biggest artists. Your ATIs were in there.
Yes.
You had he calls himself Vizo now, but he was called Young V back then. Samba T, Apollo Diablo, Oracle. We had the whole Botswana hip hop onto that album. So basically, that's what we were doing. We were just finding different ways to make money. So it was either selling T-shirts, selling the CDs, organizing events, so on and so forth. So that's how the entrepreneurship started. And then obviously after obtaining my undergrad in finance, that's when I graduated into what I'm doing now, which is Vibe Digital.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's great. That's great. So now perhaps then tell us about Vibe Digital,
Yeah.
this business and its services.
Yeah. So, after you get your undergrad, you're not quite sure what exactly you want to do. Although you just obtained your education,
Of course.
you might not necessarily want to delve into that industry or into that field. You get what I mean? So I think for about 6 to 8 months, I was actually a driver.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a driver. The pick and delivery. I was being sent around and things like that.
Very
So that was I had a job. So as a driver, but I I purposefully chose that so that I can buy time for myself to figure out what exactly I did want in life. So from there, then the company that I was a driver at, then absorbed me as an account executive because I was pretty good with people, and I had good personal skills, interpersonal skills, and but I was only there for probably a further 3 months, and I then decided and realized that no, actually my passion is in entrepreneurship, and I decided to hand in my resignation letter there. Before I did that, I had applied for a loan, and then I got rejected, unfortunately, with even though I had assurance like, yeah, no, you're asking for a small amount of money, so yeah, it's okay, don't worry, you'll get the loan.
Might I ask if this was a personal loan or something that
It
you
was
wanted
a
to channel into business?
No, it was a personal loan
Uh-huh.
to channel into. So that
Into
was the
business, all
capital
right.
that I wanted to start off with, which is
Right.
really actually not it's not a good way to start off a
Absolutely.
business. That's 100% debt basically. So from the onset, you have financial constraints to make money quickly to service your loan. So
Yes.
I think it was just God's way of saying, listen, my man, this is not the correct way of going into business. So I did try to go through other channels like your YDFs, your CEDA, and things like that. All of them were rejected. But then I'm like, you know what, God? I had a conversation with God. I was like, you know what?
Conversations.
I'm
like
going
that.
to start, regardless of whatever. If I don't have finances, it's okay. I'm going to start from my mother's house. I had a laptop. She had internet, so I started Vibe Digital basically from my mother's house.
Wow.
I had a passion for internet. I had a
Yes.
passion for marketing. I'd always told people that if I didn't do finance, I would probably have gotten into marketing in my undergrad because I love creativity. I love taking something and then finding ways to sell it. You know what I mean? Learn how to sell water. We drink water every day, but then now you have to turn that water into a brand, sell it, and get people
Commoditize
to
it, yeah.
pay a profit on it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So to me, that was just so intriguing. So actually, before I got directly into business, I then decided to pursue a professional diploma in digital marketing because I wanted to lay down that foundation.
Okay.
You don't want to
Which is
jump into
important.
you don't want to jump into an industry before knowing a bit more about what that industry entails. You get what I mean?
Might I interrupt you a
Yep.
bit there? I get how everything came along. Can
Yep.
I pull you back to
Okay.
you got your degree
Uh-huh.
and you said you purposefully chose to get a job as a driver.
Yeah.
And then you said that because of your interpersonal skills, they made you an account executive. So would you say there was a great lesson that you learned in that driver lesson, in that driver period that you had, and also in terms of meeting people? Was that a very important phase for you?
It definitely was because I was being exposed to different people. So that means that you're building your network.
Absolutely.
You get what I mean? So
That's-
obviously in business, your network is very important because tomorrow you can be in someone's office and they're like, oh, I know you. You actually did this and that, this and that, this and that. And I was like, yeah. So definitely. And it also, not just with the network, it also helped with the interpersonal skills because on a daily basis, I was being exposed to different people. So I had to learn to work with different personalities. And so that foundation that I got from being a driver and then ultimately being an account executive, I use those skills that I obtained back then, even now, whether with my employees, whether with various stakeholders from suppliers to clients themselves. So it all of this was a build-up. I mean, when you look at it, it's just something beautiful because you're like, this came from that. This
All
came
things
from
work together.
Yeah, all things work together.
That's great. That's great. So now the services that Vibe Digital offers.
Yep.
What exactly are they?
Well, Vibe Digital is a digital marketing agency.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, we provide content creation, social media marketing, and management. We do marketing strategies in general. We help people with graphic design, website design and development, so on and so forth. So one of the reasons why I wanted to start a digital agency as well is that it's not border restrictive. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. You're
And
not
for the
encompassed into one particular place.
Very true. And so for the longest time, we were told that Botswana is a very small market. Okay, great. So how does an entrepreneur make Botswana not be a small market? They go into digital because you can easily get a client from South Africa, from any part of the world, as long as you prove your value to whichever client that is. That's why it was very important for me to get into digital as well, so that I don't fall into that trap of saying that Botswana is a small market. Okay, great. So what makes it not a small market? The digital sphere, and that's why I got into it.
Wow. I like that. Very inspiring.
Yeah.
And so now I want us to get into this aspect of digital marketing.
Yeah.
You did touch on the services that Vibe Digital has,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
perhaps if you can get in depth into a few of them so that we get a better understanding of what exactly digital marketing is and how we can get the most out of it.
Yeah. So digital marketing is quite a broad term. There's various elements that consist of digital marketing. I talked of content creation.
Of course.
So whenever you have, whenever you are prevalent on any sort of platform, whether it's email, whether it's SMS, whether it's social media is one of the biggest elements of digital marketing. You need to generate content, whether it's text content, video content, picture content. So there's these various type of content. So we come up with strategies for different clients to come up with that content, and we are building towards being able to generate all types of content in-house without actually having to outsource. So you will find that my team is consists rather of content generators. I have graphic designers. I have people who can edit videos. I have people who can come up with different copies and things like that. So just text and all of that. So the most important thing in digital marketing is that of content creation.
Absolutely.
Creating relevant content that speaks a lot to your target audience. And there's different types of content, obviously, that perform differently. You'll find that in a high priced data country like Botswana, video content is not consumed as much as a low cost data price area or country rather, such as Kenya. So you'll find that you'll derive more results from video in Kenya rather than you would Botswana, because people are very data conscious when data is very expensive. Hey, I got the whole more than a minute long because it'll eat up half of all of my data. So you have to be very conscious of that and the type of audience, because if your company creates or has a product or service that caters to the upper echelon people, the people with a high disposable income, they're not very data conscious. They don't have to worry about, they just buy it. So you might realize that, okay, maybe creating video content for them, it's the best way to go about it because they have that data to consume. So content creation, I did speak that it's one of the most important elements. And then things like social media management. It's not, there's the social aspect of social media management. Everyone who has an account can socialize on social media. But then there's the business aspect. The business aspect now brings into play the various features that these social media platforms have. That's sponsored posts, that is insights, things like that. So each social media platform, Twitter, Facebook, the works, they have their own various features. So a digital agency like Vibe Digital needs to know what each platform offers, what type of demographic is on each of the platforms, so that they can best prepare a strategy coupled with all the content that's needed to speak volumes rather for their clients.
Wow, absolutely. So I take it there's a lot of understanding of different markets and the dynamics of different markets when you think about digital marketing. You did say, for instance, Kenya is not as data conscious as we are here in Botswana. And so, but then that doesn't stop me from reaching them via video and then trying a different type of social media platform or trying a different type of digital marketing means or avenue here in Botswana.
Yeah.
So our reach is basically global.
It is.
Thanks to this digital marketing.
It's digital.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this definitely is the future.
It is.
Because traditional means of marketing, you know, your branding, yes, your signage, your all the different types, they might not have as much of a reach as we do thanks to the internet.
Yeah. That's very true. I think with traditional means of advertising and marketing, the difference between traditional and digital marketing is that interaction that you can get with the client. You get what I mean? If you post a billboard by a highway, you'll have people see it. Yes, a lot of people are driving past it, but you do not know what their reaction is to that specific billboard.
Exactly.
Do they associate well with the message? Do they understand the message? Do they associate with the picture that you've used on the billboard? But with digital, as soon as you publish an artwork or any type of content on digital, you are able to get that instant feedback. What does
Yes.
this mean? This and that. And you're able to engage right there and then with your immediate target audience. So if something does not resonate with your
Exactly.
target audience, then you can easily and quickly change that so that you can derive the best results. So the thing about digital marketing is about deriving the best results, getting value for your money.
Yes, I like how you're talking about interaction. And speaking of interaction, let me remind the viewers out there that our show is actually live. So if there is something that you pick up or something that you'd like us to discuss, feel free to comment. If there's something that you'd want us to discuss rather over the phone, we will share a number that you can use to call through as we proceed. But thanks so much once again for your time. Now, Karabo, as we continue this conversation, digital marketing has evolved to become, a preferred means for us to stretch our products. Now, take us through how, the trends. How did digital marketing become so important?
Yeah.
And also maybe touch on how during this corona pandemic and outbreak, it became much more of a colossal avenue that people were now using to communicate with others.
Yeah. So digital marketing became very popular with the rise of internet.
Right.
So the more people that use a platform, the more prominent it becomes, the more important it becomes. So internet has become quicker and has become easily accessible and has become cheaper. So
Yes.
that's how digital marketing has grown. And that's what I actually saw before I started Vibe Digital. I saw as much as the internet infrastructure in Botswana was relatively young and data prices were quite expensive, eventually we will get to the prices that more developed nations are
Yes.
right now. You get
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
So
It
although
does take time.
yeah, it does take time, but eventually it will grow. So I saw that the market will definitely grow, and you can never go wrong with a market that grows. But the most important thing, I think, with a market that hasn't reached a level where it can sustain itself is when do you start and how do you position yourself to ensure that you survive that period of uncertainty in the market
Of course.
until the market understands what the
you are.
importance of digital marketing is.
Yes.
So that is how digital marketing has rose over the years, especially in Botswana, with the increase of accessibility of internet and also the decrease of internet pricing. So now during the COVID era, you could see what the advantages of digital over traditional was. Take for example a newspaper. We were placed under lockdown, so newspapers they can print hundreds of thousands of copies, but they need to get it to the end user. So if the end user is not able to get out of the house and access that paper, then that means that advertising and also the content does not reach the intended target audience. But now what happened when we were under lockdown? A lot more people were what? On their phones. They were on their phones, they were utilizing the internet, they were on social media. So that means what? A lot of the focus and attention moved towards the digital platforms. That's why a lot of people realize the importance of digital marketing and also doing it right. Because now if we have a rush of brands that are going to digital, how do you separate yourself from the noise? How do you make yourself unique? You then approach Vibe Digital to make your voice as unique as possible so that your target audience will listen to your conversation over the other.
Wow. That's great. So
Yeah.
clearly a very valuable service that you have for the people out there.
Definitely.
Exactly. No, that's good. Because I like how you said, yes, the market might be getting flooded with digital content, but how do you differentiate yourself? You see, so now there's a whole specific ball game that we're playing in here where we have to consider different aspects. And that's when we go to Vibe Digital.
That's correct. That's correct.
Absolutely. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, right, I get the digital marketing aspect about it, and of course you as an entrepreneur, but tell us, is there anything that you are involved in outside of Vibe Digital?
Yeah. Not necessarily. Vibe Digital kind of is what I eat, live, breathe, and eat and dream every day. But of course, I do try to assist other entrepreneurs through Vibe Digital, through what we can do, just to kind of pick them up. You get what I mean? So we sometimes do pro bono work.
Yes, of
You
course.
understand?
Yeah.
Just to sort of encourage others. And also, I'm trying to put together an association called Association of Entrepreneurs Botswana. I'm not
Yes.
you.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
guess you are very into it as well. And that association basically is meant to help other small businesses in Botswana to uplift us, to help us graduate from the small business stage to now medium and ultimately large and also multinational.
Of course.
That is what I'm trying to get into, and it'll definitely materialize very, very soon.
I admire that optimism
Thank you.
very much. So that's good. What would you say? But maybe before we get into the last few questions, let me remind you once again that we are live. If by any chance you have anything that you'd like to comment on, you can post a comment right here on the Facebook page, and also you can call in if you have something that you feel is quite pertinent that you'd want us to discuss. You can call the number that is on your screen right now, 7305 9578. I repeat, 7305 9578. I'll say it one more time, 7305 9578. If you feel there's something that you'd want us to discuss, it's all good. We're here to listen and engage, right? Because that's what digital marketing is about.
It's
We'd
about
like to hear
engagement.
what people's perspectives are.
Definitely.
Not just of, maybe what it is that we're discussing, but anything that they might feel is business related or something that they feel is close to their heart.
Yeah.
Right. So the next question I have for you is, what would you say has been Vibe Digital's biggest challenge so far?
I think the challenge is not unique to us, but it's unique to a lot of small businesses in Botswana. It's being consistent in what you offer to your clientele and to the public with very limited resources.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Consistency.
Yeah. So a lot of small businesses in this country suffer from consistency, whether it's delivery of their product or their services or their quality, so on and so forth. So it's about consistency. So when a client comes to a small business that is consistent, this is something that they're not used to. So if they're consistent in what they do, if they know how to communicate, if they deliver their product or service in the manner in which they said they would, that will bring clients to you. So getting that because there's so many things that can go wrong when you have very limited resources. So it's kind of like a chess game. When one thing goes wrong, you need to come up with a solution right there and then to say, okay, how do I mitigate this situation so that it doesn't
within these constraints.
within these constraints so that it doesn't ultimately affect our output.
Yes.
Does it mean that I need to communicate with our client that, listen, this is the scenario that we are facing. We believe that the solution will be conjured up within the X amount of time, but we will continue to communicate with you. Just today, I was going through so much stuff as an entrepreneur. And it was quite a miracle that I made it here in time. And I think the most important thing that an entrepreneur can do for themselves is to refine their communication skills. You know what I mean? Even if there's something wrong that is happening, you still need to communicate to the relevant parties. If that situation affects your client, if that situation affects your supplier, your landlord, your employees, communicate. Be honest with yourself, with the people who are affected, and people will gravitate towards you and they appreciate a lot of honesty. But obviously, try to minimize whatever happens as much as possible. But at the end of the day, we are human beings. And people do understand that, what, sometimes you'll just have a bad day. But this bad day does not happen consistently for Vibe Digital or for Karabo. So you just ensure that, listen, you make sure that you are as consistent as possible. And that's the biggest thing. And it can become a competitive advantage for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously, if something is pleasing you on a constant basis, you're definitely going to want more of it. And so
Definitely.
that's basically how we keep, our clientele basis.
Yes.
But I really like, like I said, entrepreneurship, I tend to say on the show many times that it's something that keeps you on your toes,
Yeah.
because the challenges, like you said, might not be day to day
Yeah.
similar. So
Yeah.
you might wake up tomorrow and find that you're in a totally different situation
Yeah.
than you were before.
Yeah.
All right, no, that's great. So I guess, lastly, in closing, actually, we have a comment here.
Okay.
Um, Trade with Me says, "What advice would you give to help grow a non-profit organization using digital marketing with regard to developing a social media presence that can be used to communicate its cause?" All right, I'll say it once again. Trade with Me says, "What advice would you give to help you grow a non-profit organization using a digital marketing with regard to developing social media presence?"
Yeah.
Okay.
It plays back to what I was just talking about. It's about consistency. If you have a social media page as an NGO or as any sort of brand, you need to be consistent with your engagement with the public, the
Okay.
social media public that you're trying to engage with. So consistently publish content that is engaging to your clients. Consistently communicate what is your cause, what exactly are you trying to do.
Yes.
And if you can try to search it up in terms of not just posting text like statuses like you normally would maybe with Twitter or something, you can publish any sort of pictures. Everybody has a phone, a smartphone. You take pictures of whatever activities that your NGOs going is doing, so on and so forth. So ensure that people hear you, understand what your NGO is all about, and that will for sure grow people, grow the audience of your social media platforms for the NGO. So
Yes.
just be
Yes.
very consistent in your publishing, be very consistent in what you are communicating, and ensure that it's very relevant. Make sure that your NGO is not posting something that has nothing to do with the NGO.
Okay.
It needs to be relevant content all the time.
Okay.
Yes, and be as engaging as possible. Make sure you respond to your messages. Make sure you respond to all comments like we are trying to do right now as well.
Absolutely.
It's all about engagement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Trade with Me, for that. Joey Mutivi, thank you so much. He says, "How are you guys dealing with potential cyber criminals as digital marketers?" How are you guys dealing with potential cyber criminals as digital marketers? Wow, very interesting. Thanks for that, Joey Mutivi.
Yeah, it is quite an interesting question. Social media is each one of the platforms, they're constantly updating their policies to ensure that it's as fun as possible and it doesn't harm anyone in any way.
Absolutely.
So, as a digital marketer, we ensure that our clients and everything that we do adheres to social media platform policies. So, if something is not going right, if there's cyberbullying, we'll make sure that we report that. You understand?
Important.
Yeah. So, before we even report that, we can even just engage with the individual and say, listen, this is not right because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
If that individual continues, the report function is there. Obviously, the platform will then review the report
Yes.
and see whether it is indeed infringing on other people's right to engage and to participate on the social media platforms. So that's what we do. We just try to uphold rather the policies of the different social media platforms. That's as a digital marketer, of course.
And let me thank Joey once again for this question, because it brings up also this issue of cyberbullying,
Yeah.
and the like. So that's basically how you deal with such instances.
Yeah.
And try as best as possible to ensure that there's the policies are in place.
That's correct.
To guard against that,
That's
because social media can be savage.
Yo, it really can.
Yeah.
It really, really can. And it's up to us to ensure that it's not, you want social media, you want people to want to come to social media.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You don't want to have people say, no, it's not on that phase. I don't want to have a Facebook profile because of XYZ. Things happen there. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's up to us as the digital marketing, community rather, to ensure that people want to use these social media platforms. Yeah.
All right. I think we can get now into the question of how young people can access your services.
Yeah.
I mean, well, businesses in general how they can access your services.
Yeah. Well, we have a website. We have a beautiful website there that you can go and view our different services and also contact us. You can always contact us on any of the social media profiles that we have. We are very available in all of them. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. It's Vibe Digital, spelled VYB Digital, and we ensure that every single comment, every single message that is sent, we ensure that we respond to it. Yeah.
All right. No, thanks so much for that. So I take it we don't have any calls for today, but that's fine. Let me thank those who've sent in their 2 cents. I think it's important, once again, my takeaway from this, to ensure consistency with our messages when we deal with this digital marketing aspect.
Definitely. And just consistency in general.
In
You know what I mean?
general,
In
yes,
your personal life,
Absolutely.
people like consistent people.
Of
You know what I
course,
mean? So
yeah.
in your personal life, in your business life, in any of whatever field that you're in, be consistent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, there's something I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
What was the last book that you read?
The last book that I read.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it was Miles Monroe
Okay.
book. I think it has something to do with development of character,
Okay.
because that's a very I felt that was a very important leadership in character in leadership, because I'm a leader. I'm a business leader myself, and I'm a leader within my organization as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find out more about the character aspect in leadership, and how exactly I can develop it, and how I can become a better leader, because you always want to be improving yourself. You understand?
Yes,
An
yes.
improved you is always a better you, and it has so many advantages. So I read that book. It was mind blowing. Miles Monroe is a very God-centric individual.
Yes,
So I resonated, and I related well to him, and I loved the approach that he took in it. And that was the last book that I read. I think it was during the first lockdown.
Yes.
And I was very appreciative of that book, and I'm
Same.
pretty sure I'm going to read some more books from him.
Wonderful.
Definitely.
So I guess those of us who haven't touched Miles Monroe's books so far, we should have a look at that.
Definitely.
I want to read this last comment here.
Yeah.
It's a question rather from OG Selo.
Okay.
Thank you, OG Selo. He says, what's the comparison like pre-COVID and during COVID in terms of uptake of digital marketing?
If I was to be honest with you right now, we are experiencing a boom.
A boom.
Yeah. I've actually been able to hire more employees.
Which is the ultimate point. Provision of employment.
Definitely.
Wonderful.
Definitely. So because of COVID and because of these lockdowns, like we mentioned earlier, people have started appreciating the essence of digital marketing and doing it right. For the longest time, a lot of people would just maybe have their IT personnel go and, it's a Maho poster, go post a status or something, go do this, go do that. But now people are understanding and appreciating the craft behind digital marketing. So they're approaching digital agencies such as ours, Vibe Digital, to do it right for them. Because if you don't have the right personnel doing it for you, you'll end up wasting money. You'll end up not getting the results that you seek and desire. So trust in professionals like Vibe Digital, and we will be sure to get you value for your money.
Wow. It's actually getting quite busy here. Hello. Hello, who do we have on the line? Hello, sir, can you hear me? Hello, sir, are you able to hear me? I think we have a problem there with the line. Our connection. Yes, hello, sir, can you hear me? Hello? Yes, sir, how are you?
I'm okay, sir. Can you hear me?
Thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much. Who are you from, and where? Who are you, and where are you calling from?
My name is Danny. I'm calling from Kanye. I'm watching your show online.
Hi, Danny. Good to hear from you.
Yes, the line is a little bit bad, but I just want to thank the gentleman for what you were saying. And I just wanted to ask that what are they doing during this COVID-19 to send messages across people without a platform, without the Karabo's Wi-Fi and network so that they see all the services that they are providing.
Would you like him to repeat that, or you got that? All right. Thank you so much, Danny. He'll answer your question. Continue.
All right, wonderful. No, that's a great question, and to play our role with the places and areas that have access to Wi-Fi because our specific environment is that of the places where there's Wi-Fi. But
Yes.
definitely these other places that are out there apart from the cities are being looked at to be provided some free Wi-Fi. If you've noticed on social media recently, although it's still in the city, the president was going to officiate a ceremony where main mall in Gaborone was going to get free Wi-Fi.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
that is pretty exciting to us because we're like, oh, great. That means more people have access to Wi-Fi. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? And then I know that Bofinet is doing the best job that they can to ensure that many Botswana across the country, and not just in the urban areas, but also in the rural areas, have access to the internet. Because honestly speaking, I feel like the internet is the solution to the high levels of unemployment.
Okay.
We can tap into the rich human capital that I feel like is in the rural areas. So as Vibe Digital, we are also establishing platforms
Okay.
that we can sell products Sabatswana out there.
Yes.
Currently, we have built a platform called Moody Art Gallery, which is an online art gallery that sells Botswana's artwork. So
Wow,
even
that's a
if
great
you,
initiative.
even if
Yeah.
you're in Hansi, we need to find out about you as an artist, etc., etc. So if you have fantastic artwork, we will take that artwork, we will list it on our online art gallery, and then we will sell it across the globe for you. Because you may not think you may not consider something worth 10,000 pula or 20,000 pula, but then someone in, let's say, Asia will say, I will pay 100,000 for this because this just resonated very well with me. And so that's just the first platform that we are looking to develop.
Yes.
And we're going to get into more things. That's the beautiful thing about digital. We can reach all corners of the earth, and that's exactly what we intend on doing. We are trying to sell Botswana, we're trying to sell the African continent to the
Yes.
rest of the world out there.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the time for that to be
Definitely.
done. And I think we have seen with the advent of COVID a lot of talent here in Botswana.
Very true.
A lot of
Yeah.
a lot of hidden and latent talent
Yeah.
that we never thought, because a lot of people actually, you see someone on social media
Yeah.
showing their talent or marketing their talents and their businesses digitally, and you ask yourself, wait, is that Kagiso?
Exactly.
Wait, is that Horata?
Exactly.
Wait, are you
Exactly.
serious? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, let's take, for example, the comedians. There's been
yes.
a meteoric rise in local comedians, but it's because of social media.
Yes.
There's
yes.
one gentleman, I'll give him a shout out, Munno Muton. I don't know if you know him. You know him, right?
Yeah. We know.
He used to shoot his videos from his small and smartphone out there. I think it's in Maitengwe or Matangwane or somewhere up north. And he has grown exponentially. And now he's starting to reap the rewards of consistently posting. You understand? He may not have had a final and finished and clean product at the beginning, but you have to start from somewhere. And people
Absolutely.
appreciated his consistency. You have to be very consistent in what you do, and eventually, sooner rather than later, hopefully, you will get to where you want to be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been quite an engaging conversation. And once again, let me thank all of you who did tune in live and who have posted your comments and questions. And for the caller that we had,
Thank you so much.
of course, we would have loved to continue as much as possible with this. But I guess this calls for a part two soon.
Yeah. Definitely. I will definitely be here. I'm always available for you, my brother.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
So let me thank you once again, Karabo Letsholo, for your time.
Thank you so much for having
being
me.
here.
Thank you so much.
It's been lovely, and I'm sure a lot of people will contact you for more information regarding digital marketing. All right. So now, just before we close the show, we always have what we call a 2-minute tip. And today's 2-minute tip is proudly brought to you by Global Governance Group. You see, as young people in business, we tend to argue or debate a lot about what it actually means to lead. So we thought we could come up with a simple way for all of us to think of this word lead with what we call the LEAD acronym. So a LEAD acronym, we start with the letter L, learn. A leader is someone who is constantly learning and increasing their repository of information so that they don't become obsolete. And then E, empower. If you're going to be a leader, you need to be able to empower those that you come across. And then A, awaken. You see, it's not just about empowering. You also need to be able, as a leader, to awaken the giants, awaken the hidden talent and hidden potential within those people that you lead. And lastly, of course, D, decide. Decision making is the ultimate factor that separates the leaders from the followers. So you need to be able, as a leader, to assess the different alternatives and then reach a concrete course of action. So let's all go out there and lead. Learn, empower, awaken, and decide. So from me, Big Budget, and the team, it's been a wonderful show. Thank you so much. We look forward to more live shows with more interaction so that we can tackle the issues that we face. Good night and God bless. And always remember that you were born for so much more.
The weak revel in their aggression. The strong in their gentleness. Be more hard and less attack.